Hello ladies and gentlemen, Top Hat Gaming Man here, welcoming you to the third consecutive video in my short sequence of uploads celebrating the history of the 3DO. One of the titles that remains still the most talked about and infamous today is of course Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. The ridiculous adult-oriented romantic graphic adventure dating sim. The game would receive a lot of attention over the years due to its insanely low production values, completely nonsensical storyline, terrible acting, and most notable of all, being presented as mostly a damn slideshow when the game was promoted and advertised as a full motion video game. As a result, it is often listed as one of the worst games of all time, and rightly so. The angry video game nerd would poke fun at the game in one of his uploads, and ever since more YouTubers have followed suit, adding to this game's well-deserved verbal thrashing. But what if I was to tell you, as ridiculous as the story featured within Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is, that the real life story behind the lead actress in the game, Jean Bassonnet, is even more ridiculous and more interesting than the game itself. So, with this in mind, we are going to do something a little different today and give a little career retrospective on what I could dig up on this individual. Who was the woman who was told to take her damn clothes off? And where is she today? This is the story of Jean Bassonnet, the actress from Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Yeah! Jean Bassonnet was born in 1963 in Glendale, California, USA. Fast forward to 1985 and she was a 22-year-old working at Burbank Medical Facility, drawing people's blood for a living. However, beyond this, the young girl had a dream of working full-time in entertainment, so had signed up to some casting agencies as a result. One day the casting agency would call, offering her an audition for a role on a new sports show. She would be invited to audition at the Hyatt on Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles, but the agency would refuse to tell her the name of the show or what sport the show would entail. However, Jean considered herself athletic, so turned up anyway, thinking what was the worst thing that could happen. She would arrive at this audition along with a plethora of other women. However, upon reaching the destination, the idea of this show casting purely based on athleticism did not appear to be as clear, as that day she would be met with big girls, small girls, beautiful girls and women from just about every race under the sun. There was a completely diverse bunch of women present. Eventually, Jean would arrive at an audition table to speak to backers, producers and directors of this new show. She was made to state her name, height and weight in front of a camera. Soon after this, it was revealed to her and the other girls that they had all just auditioned for a new wrestling show. Upon hearing this, about 25% of the women in the room instantly walked out in disgust, but Jean on the other hand, interest was piqued. The wrestling show would be revealed to be a product known as GLOW, which was an acronym which stood for Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. The GLOW story itself is so interesting that many years later, in present day, Netflix would even make a comedy drama series based on the promotion's history. It is a fantastically fun show to watch and in my opinion, the best wrestling related media to come out in a long time. So I strongly advise you to check it out if you have not done already. From here on out, Jean would continue her usual job drawing blood, however would begin training as a professional wrestler for the GLOW show. 3 evenings a week. She said she would turn up to work every day battered and bruised, but was loving every minute of it. Jean would work hard enough in training to earn a place on the show's TV tapings, which were recorded at the Riviera Hotel in Vegas. She was assigned the gimmick name Hollywood, many years before Hogan adopted the name, I may add. She was informed that her first match would be against a 350-pound woman they had christened as Mount Fiji, who she would subsequently lose against. Although the concept for GLOW was fresh, new and completely different from anything in the rest of pro wrestling at the time, old school wrestling kayfabe rules still applied to the GLOW girls. This was the 1980s after all. As a result, Jean was completely forbidden from socialising with wrestlers who portray their enemies away from the show. Production would even provide 2 separate buses for the villains and Blue Eyes to help alleviate this problem. In the original seasons of the show, the TV network pretty much gave Glow the leeway to be able to produce whatever they wanted. This privilege would soon result in the promotion pushing the envelope further and offending a lot of people as a result. Glow would be accused of having characters that mocked the mentally ill and would get chastised on multiple occasions for examples such as having a villain smashing a watermelon over a black girl's head, promoting an apartheid match at the same time as what was going on in South Africa, and even promoting Nazi matches that involved Jean herself. These matches and skits would result in her and her tag team partner singing Nazi march songs and would wear props such as gas masks as a result. One of these matches would result in her arriving back at her hotel only to find that a fan of the show had painted swastikas all over the place. By season 4, due to outside pressure, Glow had been forced to tone it down a lot, and by that point, Jean was even presenting anti-drug PSAs within these, informing the audience of important messages such as smoking pot is bad for you, which was a huge paradigm shift from what the show was. By the time 1990 came around, Glow would be cancelled from television, and as a result, Jean would need to begin looking for work away from the show. At this point in time, Jean had already began taking part in Playboy shoots and would continue to do so for extra cash. Now, this is where things begin to get a little even more strange. Jean began wrestling matches against other models and wrestlers in private studios for the titillating pleasure of those who purchased the media on VHS tapes. This would soon lead to Jean charging fans $350 to wrestle them in what is referred to as a private session, as in her own words, this was fast and easy money. Soon new business opportunities would arise with the rise of a little something known as the information superhighway, and as a result, by the mid-90s, Jean launched her own production company and website known as webkitten.com. To help run this business, Jean would employ a cameraman and a range of girls for her to wrestle. Using these resources, she would create custom videos and photos for her website fans. These would be tailored to the viewers' requests and would be so detailed that they would even include specific moves, holds and match finishes the deviants wanted to see. She said in doing so, she could first charge the customer a rate who requested the video to be made, then sell additional copies to others on the site. Jean claims she made so much money doing this, she even bought her home through doing so. On top of all of this, Jean would start making further cash by wrestling clients in hotel rooms. She claims that this would usually involve showing fans of Glow different holds, although she would occasionally get men who just wanted to talk. She would get paid big money for such sessions, so wanted to make them as fun as possible. Jean would often book hotel rooms for this purpose. Hoteliers would frequently say, "There's a guy coming to a hotel room and you're wrestling him? You can't tell me you're just wrestling." But according to Jean, this is all what ever took place. From all I can tell, she has consistently been taking these hotel bookings since shortly after Glow, and as far as I can see, still takes them up until this day. Although fantastic money, this job does not seem to have always been easy over the years for Jean. She once required 6 stitches in her forehead after a mistake was made when shooting a girl-on-girl hotel superheroine wrestling video. And in a slightly more sinister story from 1998, she once had a wrestling match against a client's wife, which would result in the wife intentionally breaking Jean's leg in 3 separate places. The injury was so severe that she would need 7 screws and 2 plates put into her leg. The injury was apparently caused as a result of the other women wanting to show her husband that she was stronger and better than Jean. Due to this, Jean would make the sensible decision to never agree to wrestle clients' wives or girlfriends ever again. Amongst all of the bizarreness, Jean would continue to take up work also in non-wrestling capacities, and according to IMDb, has been receiving regular film and television roles right up until this day. According to her own website, simply known as jeanbassanet.com, she promotes herself as an actress, stuntwoman, model and author, and still looks to be in top shape despite now being 56 years of age. With all this said, you may now be wondering where Plumbers Don't Wear Ties fits into her eclectic life. Well, 10 years ago, just after the angry video game nerd James Rolfe produced a video on the subject, a fan on an online forum would reach out to her via email to ask her if she was aware of all the attention the game was currently getting. Amusingly, she would reply stating that,
"Yes, I am aware, and I have been getting several emails. It was so long ago, kind of funny and lame at the same time. I have to laugh at all of us, helping our friend Michael out at the time. Never thought it would ever see daylight, if you know what I mean."
So from reading this brief email exchange, it appears that her appearance in Plumbers Don't Wear Ties seems to have taken place as more of a favour to a friend than it was an actual calculated career move. I guess it would be the equivalent of me appearing in the video of a friend who only has 100 or so subscribers, for the video to end up going viral 20 years down the line. The resurfacing of Plumbers Don't Wear Ties must have been a surreal experience for all involved, come to think of it, as this woman seems to have done far more with her life than simply appearing in the worst full motion video game of all time. Today, with regards to her multiple job roles and wrestling clients in hotel rooms, Jean appears to be very happy with her career and the niche she has carved out for herself. To quote the woman, she has recently gone on record to state,
"I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. My fans want me to keep on going. I've got a thriving business and I'm still making money. Who needs to stop?"
To summarise, whilst I once laughed at Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, after making this video I will never look at the actress who played Jane in the game in quite the same way. Jean Bassanet has had an interesting career full of moments of entrepreneurship, risk-taking and seizing the moment. In fact, in a scary way, I feel I even perhaps share a lot in common with the woman. I too spent over a decade working as an independent wrestler, still taking the odd booking here and there, and went to a training school multiple nights a week throughout my university years. I would even at one point end up working a short TV contract for TNA Impact Wrestling in 2014 as part of their British Boot Camp reality series. It may be shocking to some watching today that despite being a man, I too used to get regular requests from fans to pay me to wrestle them in hotel rooms, but for me personally, I was never as brave as Jean and would always turn down the work due to the level of risk and seediness involved. But that did not mean that I too did not choose to capitalise off of my small successes in wrestling and use them to successfully launch myself into other fields. I applied the showmanship skills and ability to hold an audience's attention to allow me to become a school teacher post-wrestling for a number of years, and of course the largest success for me so far has been the rapid growth of this very channel. I use the same character and gimmick today that I first established in British wrestling 13 years ago. This allows me to make more money than ever before without even needing to ever take a bump. That to me is the mark of a successful wrestler, those who can use the skills they have learned to transcend them elsewhere. So to me, Jean Bassanet is a massive wrestling success story. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is just a tiny footnote in her career compared to the other accolades she has achieved. So that was the story of Jean Bassanet, the actress from Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. If you enjoyed this video, I produce multiple videos on gaming history for you to view every week. So if you liked what you saw, then please hit the subscribe button and notification bell to never miss a video. Let me know what you thought of today's content in the comment section down below. Finally, to conclude this video, my channel Top Hat Gaming Man is funded by the fantastic support I receive from the amazing Patreon benefactors who really do relieve an element of stress from my life and help encourage me to get videos out to all of you every week. So a huge thank you and a massive shout out to Carl Johnson, JD Robbins, Seabaster Great, Sin Spacies, Andrew Bazanski, Edward O'Reilly, Quang DX, Mud Matt B, Michael Baker, Computer Man, Antonio Rodriguez, Craig Jenkins and all of my other patrons. Thank you for making my life that much better.